Bruce. There he is. I was like, where the heck is Bruce?
Oh, we've got 7 in already. Oh no, it's us. Here we go. Well, we've got people arriving.
Yeah. Good.
So good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah, I don't think they're running.
Yeah, I can see we've got 10 here. I'm just going to pop the slide up so people know that they have arrived in the right place.
Hello, as we're letting you in. Yep. Hello, everybody.
Hi,
As we're letting you in, we would love to hear if you could put in the chat where you are calling in from.
I'm just putting in the chat. Please tell us where you are.
Woohoo,
Audrey's in Toronto.
Hey, Katie from Ohio. Anne Marie from NYC. Nice.
We've got Bart over on my side of the world and Emma.
Couple on your side of the world.
Yeah.
Greece.
Wow. Georgia, you're dedicated. It's
Mendocino. I know Mendocino well.
Let's see who else we've got there.
And if you're just joining us, we're just having people put in the chat where they're calling in from. We got Tokyo, Sydney.
We'll tell you a little bit about where we are shortly. We're just going to give a couple of minutes to gather as people land in the webinar. So welcome. Tell us where you are if you haven't already. We're always curious to see how far we're spreading around the world. And it looks like we've got quite a few continents already.
Yeah, we've got at least what, 4 continents, three continents?
North America, Australia, Asia, Europe.
Nice.
So far, let's see.
Yeah. And, you know, while we're waiting too, if you have something that you would really love to get from this hour together, you can drop that in the chat as well.
We got a program we're going to offer, but it's always interesting to see what else is needed, and we'll see how we can serve you. So just a reminder as people are landing, tell us where you are. And if there's something you want to get from this, tell us. Who knows, Shannon, we may hit all those things.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe another continent or two.
Yeah. I know it feels like we're getting competitive here. Hey, we want to get the most. Okay. Anna Marie. Love to see some elements from balance coaching. Okay. Sounds like you have some prior knowledge there.
Yeah. Not sure that's. We'll do our best. But... Oh, you just finished.
Oh, you just finished balance. Gotcha. Got it.
Yeah, actually, say yes in the chat if you have taken a coactive class before. Nothing yet.
Maybe just Anna Marie. Oh, yeah, okay. We got a couple. Okay, Sakura, Susanna.
Okay, so
and on note, Vikrant, some elements from relationship coaching. Got it.
Yeah, so okay. Great. So sounds like we do have several who've taken a coactive class before. And put Yeah, I guess I was gonna say put no in the chat if you have not, but we'll just assume.
Yeah.
I think I think what I would love to do is go ahead and officially welcome you, greet you, and say you are here for the experience the power of coactive coaching with a demonstration and a debrief.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have you here. And we want to give you a little idea of what you can expect in this hour with us.
All right. Um, just so you know, we have a third colleague who you can't see. Her name is Laura Vella. You may see her in the chat, and she may help us at some point if something happens with slides or whatever. Just so you're aware, there are three of us from Coactive here today. You're mostly going to hear from Shannon and me, the people that you can see.
So we'll go ahead and just introduce ourselves briefly. My name is Shannon Kelly, and I live in Sonoma, California. And I have been teaching for CTI. I can't even believe it, but this year, coming year, will be 11 years. And it's some of the most fun work that I do. I've been coaching for about 17 years. Before that, I was a social worker and therapist and nonprofit leader. And if you're interested in finding out more, you can go to my website at shannonkelly.com.
Okay. And I'm Bruce. I'm originally from UK, but I live in Malaysia, so it's 8:36 in the morning for me. I worked for the Shell Oil Company for 20 plus years, and in 2018, I knew that I needed something more, and I walked into a coactive classroom. So that means that I've been coaching just over 6 years, and I've been faculty with CTI for I think 3 or 4 years. So relatively new next to Shannon, but super passionate about this work and happy to be here today and introduce many of you to A Taste of Coactive.
Yes. So here's what you can expect. We've got a little agenda for you. We're going to give you a definition of coaching. And we're going to introduce a coaching tool, which some of you know, the Wheel of Life. Bruce is going to do
We're
a live demonstration. So if you know that you might want to be a demonstration client, just start thinking about that because we will be asking for a volunteer.
okay. You'll get to witness some coaching skills. So in the demo, I'm going to use different coaching skills. And after the demo, then Shannon will do a debrief so that you get to understand what happened, what were the skills we used, some of the things that we do in Coactive and that we hold as important.
Mhm.
And then at the end, if there are any questions, we may have a little bit of time to answer those, as many as we can, as deeply as we can in this format. The way that we'll be interacting is chat. That's so that this kind of presenter area and the demo area is peaceful and quiet for when we do the work. So chat away to us,
Mhm.
and we'll try and deal with everything that comes in the chat.
Yeah, and if a question arises as we are talking, feel free to use the Q&A function at the bottom or the chat. We'll be monitoring them. So we hope to be able, as Bruce said, to get to most of your questions. We typically do a little speed round at the end. So if you've got them, feel free to ask them. Okay, so there's a coaching skill. It's actually part of our model. It's called Designing the Alliance. And Designing the Alliance is really a spoken, consciously designed way of how we're going to be together. So it happens in the coaching relationship and it happens in our courses. And so this one is a little unique. So a couple things. Bruce and we're improving. So we have a little agenda, but the content really is going to come from the demonstration, which is, totally unscripted, right? So we may talk over each other or, contradict each other a little bit. And that's really part of our coactive, we call it the coactive dance.
So and there may be the odd awkward pause. That's okay. I'm pointing upwards because on my screen, Shannon's above me.
And you're above me on
We're,
mine.
oh, okay, there we go. We'll all point up. We're okay with that if we kind of jump over each other, tread on each other's toes. We're ready for it. We've designed our alliance. So know that that's how we operate in coactive, and that's how the coactive classroom is as well. We're creating from what's here in the moment.
That's right.
So a huge feature of coaching is confidentiality. This is a little bit different because we're doing a webinar. So we're going to be asking one of you to come forward and volunteer as a demo client so that we can show you some coaching. Because there's so many of us here, we cannot hold confidentiality. We're also recording the session for further use. We hope that you're aware of this already. So unusually, this coaching will not be confidential. It will be available to others. So whoever is going to come forward as client, know that and know that, think about a topic that you're comfortable to get some coaching on, in the knowledge that this will be recorded and that this lives on beyond our time today.
That's right. That said, we always ask, we don't do role plays in our courses. People get coached on real things that matter to them, which I think is part of the beauty of our courses is that you learn coaching, but you also get some great coaching on things that are real. So we do ask that if you choose to volunteer, that you bring a real topic, something that's actually happening in your life that matters to you.
Okay. Anything else we want to say in our Designing Alliance, Shannon?
Well, just if you all need anything or want to make a request, in the next 30 seconds or so, just drop something in the chat.
Yeah. And here's one of those ones. We're just going to leave a pause because it takes time.
Exactly. Give you a
See
moment.
if anything comes up.
Okay, well, know that designed alliances can be revisited. So if anything comes up along the way, again, you can chat us and let us know. So, but I think we can go. What is coaching? So, according to the International Coaching Federation, coaching is partnering with individuals in a thought-provoking creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. I almost said it without taking a breath.
Well done. and here's a moment to chat. Like we're going to chat a little bit amongst ourselves about what this means for us, but throw in any ideas or questions you have around this. Yeah. Shannon, I love that definition, but it is official and it can be a little bit dry. What does coaching mean for you?
Yeah, what I do love about this is the idea of partnering, thought-provoking, and creative. And I think, for me, the beauty of coaching is that it helps people tap into parts of themselves that often get left behind and knowledge and wisdom that can be left on the table. So I think that coaching in general and coactive coaching in particular really creates a space where the whole person can be expressed. What about you, Bruce?
I remember in my first coactive class, we were coaching one of the leaders, and I don't want to give away what happens in fundamentals. And we were focusing on asking questions, powerful questions. And I asked a question, and the leader said, "It's a really powerful question, Bruce, but it's not about what I want coaching on." Mm. And that it was a huge shift for me. What I love about coactive coaching is we coach the client on what they want coaching on, not what we think is good for them. Right. And there's so much of that in life. There's so much advice that we'll get that we don't always want Coactive coaching is a space where you're not getting advice, you're not getting somebody else telling you what you need to want, what you need to be doing. It's the space for us as individuals to actually explore what's important to us, what's worrying us, what's in our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our souls.
Yes, it's a really radically different conversation than most of us are
Mm.
used to. It really, so I think I'm so with you on that. One of the things I think that's the biggest challenge for people coming in and learning our model is you almost have to unlearn your tendency to focus on problem solving. Most of us have been well paid and are good at and enjoy problem solving. And yet there's so much freedom that comes when we realize that our clients can solve their own problems and we just get to focus on having these powerful conversations that elicit those ahas and deep learnings for them. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
More
biased,
on
but I
that.
love coaching.
Yeah, and you will find most coaches have a coach at some or all points in their lives. I work with a coaching supervisor at the moment, just to get that thought partnership in the work that I do and in aspects of life. It's cool. We do the thing that we're advocating.
Absolutely.
Um,
Okay, so we're going to
cool.
introduce you to a little tool that we use. There's many versions of this out in the world. It's a really great thing to begin any coaching relationship using, and it's called the Wheel of Life.
It is.
And
So
so
this is,
Hmm.
here we go. We just did that thing.
We did
But
the
look,
thing.
we're
You
still
go.
good. We're still friends. So this is a wheel. It's divided into 8 sections about different areas of life. It's called Wheel of Life, and it's about 8 different parts of a person's life and how we use. I'm going to read out the sections just because it might be small on people's screens. So starting at kind of 1 o'clock, we've got family and friends, and I'm going to move around clockwise. Significant other or romance, then to fun and recreation, health, money, bottom left, personal growth, physical environment. And by that, we usually mean where you live, where you work, where you stay, and then career at the top. There's no right way of kind of labeling these. These are just things that we think often cover a lot of what's important to people. And here's the thing: family and friends may may be different to me and to Shannon. That's okay. It's about what it means to our clients. It's just a way of getting things started.
It's also, what we're looking at when we work with people is what's your current level of satisfaction? So it's a snapshot of today, not aspirational, not what you wish it would be, not, what it was at its best or its worst, but just right now, how satisfied are you? And so, for example, I'm looking at significant other romance, and it's not about do you have one, it's about how satisfied are you with your current status. If you're happily single, it could be a 9. So again, it's a wonderful way to get to know someone and begin to sort of unpack their relationship with the different areas of their life.
And the way that we work with it as well. And this is really important. Our clients are always a choice. So in the example you see here, you notice that health and fun and recreation are lower. This doesn't mean that's where we start the coaching. We say to our clients, so now you've done this exercise, client, what would you like coaching on today? It could be family and friends. Somebody says, I want to get from an 8 to a 9. As coaches, and this is the thing I was talking about, it's not for us to decide what they need coaching on. Client chooses.
That's right.
And
They are totally a choice.
yeah, to who was it? Who was interested? To Anna Marie, interested in balance, which is a little bit inside. There's an element of balance coaching in here because this is about choice.
That's right. Choice. And the other piece that's sort of balancy is notice that it's not balanced. And, I would posit that it might never be all tens, that's not really what it's about. We all make choices in life to prioritize things. And again, for a time, right? So, personal growth might be deprioritized in the first 6 months of next year because you've got a huge family friends thing going on, So again, it's a nice neutral assessment tool without a lot of charge to it. So,
And so,
yeah, I would, if I were you and you're thinking about volunteering to be a coaching client, I would look around this wheel and think, where does my topic fall? Like, which of these areas includes the thing that I'd love to work on? Just take a moment.
and you might even want to just make an assessment. Where am I in terms of satisfaction? One being low, 10 being high, and know that there's no right or wrong on this. This is just where you are now, how it feels to you.
Mhm. Yeah, and if you know you don't, even if you know you don't want to do the demo, you may just want to think, like, where am I on a scale of 1 to 10 in these areas? Just do a quick little mental snapshot for yourself.
You may even want to do a screen grab and do some reflection after the webinar as well. Go ahead and do that if that feels right to you.
Okay, well, Bruce, shall we move into the next piece?
Yeah. So I'm just going to unshare my screen. So we're moving into demo. And this is where we're going to invite one of you to get some coaching. I'm going to coach, and Shannon and the rest of you will get a chance to observe the coaching. Coaching is going to be around 12 to 15 minutes. So what we're looking for is somebody who has a topic that they feel reasonably comfortable to explore in this strange webinar setting. It's maybe not as comfortable as when we're just one-to-one and nobody's watching, but you feel okay to come and explore with me.
You want to just say something in the chat and let us know?
Know that we're really good at waiting.
Yeah. Don't be shy.
Here's Vikrant. Vikrant, we have a volunteer.
Excellent. So while we're waiting for Vikrant to come in, just a couple things for all of you. I'm going to be doing a little timekeeping. Actually, I'll wait till Vikrant comes on too.
Hey, Vikrant, welcome. Welcome to the stage, as it were.
Vikrant, are you able to turn your camera on? Yay,
there we go. Yeah. Gotcha.
So quick little design moment, Vikrant. I'm going to be turning my camera off, but I'll be popping it back on at whatever time Bruce wants me to give. Doesn't mean the coaching's over. I'm just giving him a little time check so that he can fully focus on you.
Sure.
Bruce, you want a 10, 8, 10? What are you thinking?
Yeah, give me, if you just come on camera and give me a thumbs up, I'll acknowledge you at 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And Vikrant, that doesn't mean we're done. It's just so that I'm keeping on track. We're keeping on track.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Shannon. Okay, so Shannon's turning her camera off. I'm just gonna change my view so that I get to see you. There we go. So, hi Vikrant, where are you based?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Right, gosh, so it's your late afternoon.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it. I'm at the other end. I'm Thursday morning, so I thank you for volunteering. Well, I appreciate it. It's good to have you here. So just before we get started, we're going to do a little bit of designing alliance here. So is there anything that you need from me while we do the coaching over the next 10, 12 minutes or so?
No, I'm ready to jump in.
I'll just ask permission for a few things from you. So I'm gonna be asking you questions. Is that okay?
Yes,
Great. Um, I'm going to articulate stuff that I see going on. It may be body language or expressions or energy. Usually, it's good for just bringing awareness to you. But that's okay.
sure. Yeah.
Good. I may intrude. I may intrude to perhaps slow down. Often, as humans, we speed over things that are important. Or if you get into a story, often in coaching, the coach we don't need to know the story as long as our client knows the story. So I may intrude and say, "Hey, what's the important thing? I'd be doing this for the sake of using the time well for you, so that you get something out of this." Am I okay to do that?
Sure. Sounds great.
Great. And I may challenge you to something if I get the urge to challenge. You are totally at choice. Yeah. You don't have to take a challenge, and I'll set that up if I feel the urge to do it. You're at choice here. It's your topic, your life. My intention is to just partner with you in a way that is supportive for you.
Sure. No problems at all.
Okay, we're good to go?
Yes.
All right, super. So I'm just going to write the time down here so I keep that in mind. You don't need to worry about time. You sit back and relax. So what's the topic that you'd like coaching on today, or the area of the wheel? You know, set us up.
Yeah, I'll go with the friends and family.
Okay. What's your current score out of 10 then? What did you give yourself?
I would say it's at level 3.
Level 3.
Yeah.
I'll just say a little bit about what level 3 looks like for you today.
Yeah, so level 3 looks like having friends, but not being in touch with the friends. And otherwise, like, I mean, the friends are not the best of the friends I have right now, but I would like to get more friends who I can actually be in touch and socialize more often with those people.
Yeah. When you think about your ideal situation with friends, yeah, I notice you smile even as I say that. Looks like friends are important to you.
Yeah, like friends, like since my childhood, like, I never had good quality friends. That's what I felt and thought about. As I was like transitioning into my career and everything recently, like last 3 to 4 years, I have been having a lot of transformation through coaching. So I lost a lot of friends in the meantime because those friends, they couldn't relate to me. And so I had to, like, we had to part ways. And it wasn't me who parted way with them. They were the ones who told me, no, we don't want to be with you anymore. You sound too forward or too something different for us. So that's where I feel like even my best friend, I lost connection with him. And the reason was because he wasn't being authentic and I wanted him to be authentic. And all those things were coming in the way. So because of that, then I started to feel a lot more disempowered in terms of like, that I don't have friends who are deeply bonded with me.
Right. Yeah, I hear the pain in there, and I also I get a sense of hope for something bigger.
Yeah, because like, one of the sayings that my dad used to always say to me is the world is full of friends who you haven't met. So I know there will be more friends coming in my way. But because of the career and all those things, like, I find it really hard to go out, socialize with a lot of people. So not sure like how those friends and other things would come up in life.
Okay. All right. So thank you for sharing the 3 out of 10 picture and feeling. So looking ahead, and I invite you to be as ambitious as you want. What would you like your level of satisfaction to be for friends and family? Like if you're doing this exercise in 6 months' time, what would you like your score to be?
I would at least like it to be like between 6 to 7.
Okay. And if you just like what you really, really want.
Really,
My
we want
skill
is to
set
be
there,
10.
didn't it? Yeah. All right. Okay. And you laugh. I notice you laugh when you say 10.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what would 10 look like? If you dare to dream about what 10 looks like, what do you know about that?
Yeah. 10 would look like I have friends who I can call anytime and they would show up, as well as people like who I can count on.
Yeah. So kind of, I'm hearing something like trust and reliability.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, reliability is one thing.
Right.
And yes, trust is also another part of that.
Right. What else? What else does this look like? 10 out of 10 with friends.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 with friends. That we can go out, like, meet for dinners or for social events. We can go out for picnics or things like that.
Yeah. This social, and I also heard you like earlier you said the word authentic.
Hmm.
What else is important in your friendship group?
Important is staying to the purpose, not
Yeah,
being
yeah, continue, sorry, I jumped back.
yeah, being meaningful or being purposeful.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I sense a depth to you. You're looking for a deep connection.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What's important about connecting deeply with friends?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, what's important about this deep connection with friends?
What's important about the deep connection is the bonding. I haven't been very social as such, but when I get the right kind of people, then I tend to be very social. So if I know I'm being with certain group of people and they would not take advantage, also at the same time, they would be on to contribution and being open instead of withholding the communication, they can be open and honest about the communication. That is something that would be the key.
Yeah. I have a kind of an intuition that you're looking to be loved by your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Loved and accepted.
Yeah, I don't like, like love is a big thing for me. Um, Even I waited for the right relationship to come into my life,
Yeah.
and when it was there, I embraced it. So right now, I don't have a problem with my intimate relationship because
Yeah.
that got fulfilled, and that is something that I worked on since last 8 years.
Right.
So and finally, I got that. So that was great. But then in that meantime, I could see like a lot of change, a lot of transformation come to me. But the friend aspect, that wasn't fulfilled as much. It didn't go up that well.
Reading between the lines, I'm sensing you're doing work on yourself. Like you're growing.
Yes,
The personal growth side of things, probably you're doing a lot of work there.
that's right.
Yeah. And so how do you want your friends to hold you and your growth?
Yeah, like I would like them to at least be open towards the growth.
And that's at least at most what do you really want from these amazing friends?
Yeah, so I don't know yet about it because that is something that I have never experienced. Like, how that truly connecting friend would be like.
Right.
So even with my best friend and all, like it was a disaster at the end because he didn't relate to me and he wasn't happy in his relationship and all those things. So it was a sad part of his life. At that time, he decided to part away from me. But what went unnoticed was he couldn't hear me in that moment, in those moments, and he wasn't open. So someone who can be open even in their deepest, darkest moments and open to receiving help and support. And at the same time, I'm open to receiving help and support from the other person too. So if both parties can intermesh and can help each other grow, I think that would be great. So friends
Yeah.
who would inspire more growth, that would be ideal. And definitely love is something much more deeper quality that I would love to bring.
Yeah. I I get this sense you have a philosophy about how you live and how you grow. Yeah, and you're smiling as I say that.
I'm open to that. And it's
Yeah.
constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, I would say.
Yeah. And it sounds like you want friends who can evolve with you and come on this journey of growing through life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, too right. I also heard something around you taking care of people. What is it that you want to offer your friends?
Well, I consider myself as a giver. So whenever I see opportunities to contribute towards someone else, and I don't hold back, I go ahead and I go and help them out.
Yeah.
So some people they are completely closed off to that help, and they are like, no, you just be you, I just be me, and that's okay for me to
Mm.
some extent. But if they are more open with that, that's even great. And if they can collaborate and go further, that would be more like a growing experience and somewhere where like I get heard at the same time they get heard. So both sides.
Yeah. I notice, Vikrant, that when you talk, sometimes you're very serious, and then sometimes you just let this almost childlike smile, like now.
Yeah.
There's like a childlike smile coming here. What's in the childlike smile? It feels important.
Um, I don't know. Like I smile sometimes. People also say that I'm a very serious person. So but I just don't know. I am just me in
I
that
see
way.
a
So
sparkle in your eyes. Like every time I say something like this, you
yeah.
smile and your eyes sparkle. What does that mean for the friends that you want to be with? What's this sparkle about?
I don't have any meaning associated with that yet. So thank you for telling me those both aspects because to myself, I consider myself as a very serious person because of the
Yeah.
feedback I have been getting from a lot of people. Versus from my wife, I always get an opposite feedback that I'm a very jovial person. So and then you are saying it's a mix. So that's very fascinating and interesting for me.
Yeah. It looks like you have range, you have depth, and a wish to go deep. And the word fun keeps kind of flashing before me. I sense that there's fun in you.
Hmm.
What's true in that for you?
Yeah, what's true is I'm exploring ways to be more fun and exploring that sense of being where I'm fun.
Yeah. Um, what if you were already fun enough? You don't need to work on the fun. What if it's in there? What would that open up?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm already fun. That helps me to understand that, okay, I have been believing the thought that I'm not fun. And so
Yeah.
now I have access to the fun aspect, like so it can be something that I can unleash within myself.
Yeah. Um, we're going to close the coaching in a second, but I
Sure,
want to do a couple of things to close up.
sure.
Firstly, I want to leave you with an inquiry, and it's a question that you get to just go away and think about.
Mhm.
What what if I am already really good fun? Something like that. Will you go away and just ponder that? What if I'm fun already? I have a sense there's a lot of fun inside you, and I just wonder how
Mhm.
life could be if you believe in that.
That's a great question to live from, I would say, because that is something that I have been looking out for.
Yeah.
And that's somewhere like hidden in the subconscious. It was something that I also had discussed about with my coach before. And
Right.
but now today you are bringing it up in such a magnified way. So thank you for doing that.
So before we close, like, what's one thing that you could do to go and start pushing your score towards 10?
In the friends and family, I think with the friends aspect, I can just be more fun around people. And whenever I'm out with people, I can be more fun. And I think more people would be attracted to that. And then from there, if I connect with someone to a deeper level, I can explore, see if they are at the same wavelength and they're open to growth and they want to succeed and they want to also grow simultaneously. It would be a great
Yeah.
match.
I want to offer you a reframe on the fun.
Okay.
It's framing from be more fun to just letting your natural fun come out. It's in there. I believe it. You don't have to try. It's just see what that reframe does for you.
Okay. I will. I see. I tend to get back to my previous identity where I'm not fun. So thank you for
Right.
bringing that back up again and again. That I'm already fun and I can just express that.
Yeah, I see it. I see the twinkle in your
Yeah.
eyes right now and the smile, playful smile. I want to acknowledge a tremendous depth that I sense in you and a lightness, an ability to be with the complexity of being a human and all the joys that that can bring. Go and play with that, Vikrant. Enjoy it. Be you. And thank you for stepping up and being a client here for us today. It's such a gift you're giving to all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay. So we'll close the coaching there. Shannon's going to come back. We're going to pop you back into the participant pool.
Off he goes.
Thank you, Vikrant.
Thank you so much. Yes, feel free to thank our lovely client in the chat if you'd like. I'll give you a minute to do that. And then we're going to really focus on the coaching, Bruce's lovely coaching session and what you saw. Sweet.
Of heart drifting across the screen.
That's good. Sweat on, Vikrant.
Yeah.
Stay sweaty.
It means something's happening.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, vibrant. Yeah,
I
Laura.
know, I love it. It's perfect. It's like you could have that as an alter ego. Wonderful. So we're going to talk a little bit about the coaching. So I'm going to tell you what you were seeing, but first I want to hear from you some of the things that you noticed about what Bruce was doing and how he was being, or just anything you noticed about the coaching itself. Feel free to drop it in the chat and then we'll have a little teach out. Yeah. Vikrant says, I felt reflective coaching in action. Yes. Yeah, pointing out facial expressions and body language. He was really great at that. And in our jargon, it's called articulate what's going on. So sometimes it sounds like I'm noticing, I'm seeing, or even I'm sensing, I'm intuiting, right? And it's so helpful because we're always doing things that we don't know that we're doing. And it can be very, very helpful to hear those things reflected back to us. As you all are putting hopefully more things that you noticed into the chat, I just want to mention at the very beginning, the designing the alliance, that Bruce really took a moment to talk about how the conversation might look and how they would be together. So, he didn't make any assumptions about, that Vikrant would know sort of what coaching would feel like. And so he said things, he asked permission to coach him. He talked about articulating. He asked permission to intrude if the storyline was getting a little too long and that he needed something more essential. So he got permission for all of that, and heard what Vikrant needed from, or what he needed from Bruce. Joyous, yes. Vikrant, yes. Using intuition, yes. All over the place, there was the listening beyond the words. Like, couldn't you all really just feel Bruce just in deep alignment, with not only what Vikrant was saying, but with how he was being, how he was showing up, what he wasn't saying, and just offering without attachment those noticings. Yeah. Other skills that were present, powerful questions. So questions that the client has to really search for the answer. It's not a yes, no question. It's a deeper question. It's a deeper looking. So as coactive coaches, we're always looking for the learning that's below the surface. Other things in the chat? Surely you all noticed things.
Nobody gets to be wrong in this, so just
Exactly.
blurt out what you think you picked up. We'll build from it.
Exactly. And while we're waiting on that, couple other things that I wanted to point out. The reframe at the end around already being fun is so powerful, because again, that's one of those things that the kind of thing that we say without even noticing, that actually has an impact, right, on our own story, that we're spinning. And so Bruce was really persistent in helping the current sort of challenge that. And then championing, seeing what he saw in him, seeing the fun, seeing the joy, seeing the essence, that sort of acknowledgement, and then the championing of, even the championing in the, what about a little higher than that, a little, a little bigger than a 6, so really knowing that that's a possibility. And that's a huge piece of being a coach, is really knowing that your clients' possibilities are limitless,
I want to add something in there.
Yeah.
I suggested like what could higher be, but if Vikrant had said no, six is fine, I go with that. I'm not trying to get him to be over ambitious. I had a hunch that he was being modest. So I just explored it. Shannon used the words non-attached. It's so important. We're not attached to any of this stuff. We're just prodding and poking to see if there's something there that serves the client.
That's right. Yeah, and Anne-Marie said closing with an inquiry. And I like to think of an inquiry as a powerful question in a to-go bag. So it's something that the person ponders, the person chews on, the person maybe they stick it up on their computer and, or journal about it. So it's a question to go. Can you please again mention what permissions did you ask? So here's the one. I mean, he asked for permission to coach you, first of all, and then he asked for permission to articulate what he was seeing. So to maybe say things, Vikrant, about, I noticed your facial expressions or things like that. He also asked permission to intrude, to interrupt if, and kind of have you give him the essence or the bottom line of what you were talking about. So, yeah, you're welcome. Sakura, let's see, CRW, the current doesn't need to try. Yes. Wasn't that beautiful? Just that reframe around, you don't need to try. It's already in there. You know, it's, oh, yes, and mirroring. Great coaches.
I'm going to pop something in the chat. Sakura has mentioned 4 important letters, NCRW. This is what they mean. We're not going to go into it in depth, but this is something, this is a cornerstone in our model that we believe this about our clients. They're naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. That means they're not broken. They've got everything they need to live their lives. Our job is to partner with that.
That's right.
More about that if you enroll on the program. But just a taster. Thanks, Sakura. It's so important.
I have to say, it was that for me, it was such a huge shift, even as a social worker, where, you know, I really thought I was coming from a strengths-based perspective. It was still, you know, it was still not as radical, I would say, as NCRW, naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. Truly finding it in myself over time and through the courses to believe that I didn't have to fix anything in people, you know, that they had everything they needed. And now over the years, seeing the truth of that, like seeing just how true that is and how what a relief it is to see people that way, you know, have that perspective shift. So thanks for underlining that, Bruce. So curious out there, I think we have some time to answer a few questions. So if you've got any questions for me or Bruce about coaching, coactive, next steps, etc., feel free to drop them in the chat and we're happy to answer.
Yeah, or anything around that demo. So yeah, any questions? And if there are no questions, then Shannon's going to sing a song for us. So.
No. I'll do it with the questions. Although, why are the attendance dropping?
Oh.
Do you also teach how to find clients as a coach? So our courses are specifically focused on coaching skills, but that said, there's a Q&A in every course, and there's always lots of talk about business building. There's some free business building resources available, and you know, part of doing our certification program is having 5 paying clients, and so a piece of the moving into that is supported by in various ways by CTI.
And it's amazing what happens as people are signing into certification. And often people say, how am I going to get my 5? Everybody manages it. Everybody does it.
They do.
The moment you start telling the people in your life that you're training as a coach, it's amazing what starts coming your way. People need coaching.
Yeah.
Some resource in there from Laura.
So then I see, how do you feel about faith-based coaching? So Katie, could you ask a little more, like, just give us a little more about, because that's a very broad question. Like, maybe just get a little more specific. And while you're writing that, let's look at Alexandria says, I am signed up for the fundamentals course, but was thinking it was about learning relationship skills, listening. Yes, I'm not interested in becoming a coach, but was told the course could be instructive about relationship skills, especially in a work environment. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we teach all the skills that you saw Bruce exhibiting plus a bunch. So listening, asking powerful questions, you know, kind of creating non-judgmental space, having having your coachee really drive the session, you know, and be responsible for what they do outside of that session. So this used to be called the coactive coaching model, and it's actually now called just the coactive model because it works, and these are just great communication skills.
For leaders to be able to have in their range a coach-like approach. So which is when you're curious, you're asking, you're creating space, you're not judging, as Shannon said. This is absolutely core to leadership that is needed in the complex world we now live in. So we have many, many people who enroll on the course with no intention to become a coach. We also teach these skills to big corporate companies around the world. Some names that you will be using every day on your computers at home.
Yeah.
Some pharma companies, they train their leaders in coactive coaching for the sake of leadership skills, not necessarily for people to become coaches. So Alexandria, for me, you're absolutely signed up to the right course that will give you relationship skills and help you build those.
100%. Katie, I don't want to go by you. I didn't see an updated question, so I'm just going to take a stab at that question. Not quite sure what you want to know, but I would say that, you know, coaching can be used for in many different milieu, you know, and in many different ways. And so, you know, I think that it's a great niche, you know. So that's not specifically what we teach, but you can certainly use coactive coaching skills in really any form of coaching. You know, people are health coaches, executive coaches, every kind of ADHD coaches, faith-based coaches, you know, every imaginable thing you can combine these skills with. So
I have a friend who is a pastor who is a coactive certified coach. He uses it for the sake of being in relationship, intensifying what he can do, and also bringing coaching to the work he does in his faith community.
Yeah, yep. And a lot of people, I mean, I do, you know, I combine sometimes yoga and meditation, things like that. So, you know, you certainly can use everything you got. Yeah, so let's see.
Carol, we've answered some of the question. Is there any point to taking the coactive training if you don't have an intention of becoming a coach, particularly fulfillment? Yes, and fulfillment is really about helping people find and achieve what they want. If you are a leader, to be able to have fulfillment type conversations with your people is hugely powerful, particularly this time of year if you're doing performance appraisals and setting up for a new year, to have a fulfillment coaching style conversation when you're setting targets. As a former corporate leader, if I'd known this, I would have paid a lot of money to know coactive when I was motivating large groups of people towards a new year's worth of challenges. So it's a hearty yes.
What it really can do to conversations is have them be so specifically tailored to each individual. So you can get curious and really hear what drives and what drives the individual and what they deeply value personally, that then can align with the organization's values, mission. But really it helps keep it focused on the human in front of you, you know, very bespoke. So, you know, you really can tailor your work with your people based on who they actually are, you know, beyond a role, you know. It's good stuff. Interested in the training, but a little overwhelmed by the long online session hours. So I so appreciate that, Emma. What I would say is, you know, we used to brag about being the oldest in-person coaching training organization in the world. And then COVID happened and we had to turn on a dime. And the thing that's really been incredible as somebody who did everything in person up until then is that it translates beautifully. And people talk about ending the day more energized than when they begun it. So I think we do it pretty well. We take frequent breaks. We move around a lot. We encourage you to take care of your bodies and act like you're in your living room, which you are. And I think it's a dynamic enough experience that you might feel tired and a little sick of looking at a screen by the end of the day, but you will get a lot.
And I checked earlier. I think you said you were based in Melbourne. At the moment, we are planning more in-person courses in Singapore. So keep an eye out for that. I'm guessing that's probably one of your closest locations. Also, there are English language courses offered in Korea. We have a partner in Korea. So if you want to do in person, there's a few options that may not be showing now, but will be coming up. So keep your eyes on our websites, and more will follow. Meanwhile, in Singapore, we have a lot of 5-day courses that are no more than 4.5 hours. That's also a great way of managing that online challenge and keeping things fresh.
Feel free to bring Bruce and me to Australia.
There we go. There's the answer to that. And we have hit time.
Yes.
I noticed, I'm just putting the closing slide. I noticed there's something in the Q&A. I'm just going to have a quick peek. I see the Q&A. It's okay. That was Emma's question. So great.
Perfect.
There's how you can stay in touch and follow us. We'd love to see you in a classroom one day. Thank you so much for joining us today. Go well.